All right, what's up, you guys? So, with me, we got a badass real estate agent with us today, doing a lot of great things. My name is Brandon Mulrennan, creator of the FSBO where in 8 weeks, we're helping to train real estate agents just like yourself how you can list one for sale by owner every single week throughout the entire year. So, with me today, I've got Nathan Gross. You've been in the business now for how long?
Approaching 2 years. May since for 2 years.
Awesome, dude. Nice work. So you've been in the business for about 2 years. Number one, thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking time away from your business to pour into other real estate agents across the country, because I think what you have to say today is really going to probably inspire some people to take action, which is what it's all about. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, you have to take action. If you don't do anything, then that's what you get, nothing.
That's right. So, dude, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it. So let's jump in. So you've been in the business for about 2 years. What was your production in 2017? That was your first full year in the business, right?
Yep, first full year. Well, the first 6 months of my real estate career is kind of I was lost. I was working for a discount brokerage, didn't know what that meant, didn't have guidance. But yeah, so 2017 was my first year, and I produced just under 2 million. I sold 20 houses last year, and
nice.
This year I'd like to produce 4 million to 5 million, and sell 30 to 40 homes.
Dude, that's awesome. That's badass. And so before you and I met, you had tried to work with for sale by owners. And what were some of those, Nathan, some of those mistakes that you made early on going after for sale by owners that you think people need to change or need to hear?
I used to call them and ask them if they wanted me to list their home, and they don't want me to list their home.
Yeah.
You have to build a relationship up to that point, and then they ask you. It's beautiful. It's the easiest way to do it is to just treat them like people and be a resource for them, be available when they need help, and eventually they feel enough pain that they call you to list their home.
No, that's great. And I mean, that's essentially what it is that I teach, is allowing the for sale by owner to go through the journey on their own, feel that pain of selling on their own without us trying to force it down their throat. And the last agent standing is going to be the one that has that opportunity to list the home. Would you agree?
Of course. Yeah. You don't want to force anything down their throat, because they're getting 20 to 30 phone calls a day, probably, with other agents forcing it down their throat. You don't need to tell them. They know.
No, dude, that's great. That's great. So you went through the 8-week boot camp. And so now as you start to approach for sale by owners, what's changed and what's your approach now that you're having so much success with for sale by owners?
I approach it more conversation like. It's just more about talking to them and seeing if we're a good fit. Not everybody you're going to talk to is going to want to work with you, and you're not going to work with everybody that you talk to. So if you have a conversation and ask the right questions and get the right answers, you can determine if it's going to be a good fit to continue your follow-up.
That's great. And so interesting you say follow-up, because I think a lot of agents are out there for the quick fix. They're out for that instant gratification. Make one phone call, get one listing, get one paycheck. And it doesn't work that way, does it?
No. Out of all the FSBOs that I listed, I probably talked to them 5 to 10 times or more before we even got a contract and into conversation.
And so I'm so happy that you bring that up, because I think that's so important for real estate agents to know and understand, in that a real relationship, to have a for sale by owner feel comfortable and confident listing their home with you, it takes on average, how much time for you would you say?
30 to 90 days. Depending on how much pain they feel.
Yeah, and depending when they feel that pain, right?
Right. And also you have to present yourself as the person they want to work with, and you don't know that unless you have conversations with them. Not every client is going to be looking for the same thing in an agent.
So walk me through that. So you get on the phone with a for sale by owner. You go through our first call for sale by owner script. They agree to meet with you. What's your mindset and what's kind of your thought process as you go and meet with that for sale by owner for the very first time?
Well, like you taught me in the course, and like I've learned through experience, you have to disengage the first meeting from your paycheck. There's actually oftentimes you're going to have a first meeting and you'll never get paid for that. And that's okay, because what we're doing here is a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more likely you are to get paid.
That's right. I mean, you hit it. I mean, it's really just simple as that. It's the number of people you talk to times your skill level equals your success, right?
Yep. Definitely.
Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So go ahead.
And you don't get skill unless you do it. So that's the main thing, is just pick up the phone and call, go on the meeting and have a conversation. At some point during most of my first meetings, I tell my potential client, I didn't even bring a contract. I'm here to talk to you and see if we're a good fit.
Yep. I love it, man. And I think, a lot of agents, they want to overanalyze everything, right? I don't have the right script. I don't have the right presentation. I don't have this ready. I don't have my website ready. Would you say they need all that to go and meet with a for sale by owner to start building a relationship? Or would you say just take action, don't worry about all the details, and that shit will come later?
Yep. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's it. And all that will come later. I think sometimes we make these stories up that seem really important in our minds about why we can't make the phone call, why we can't start. And my advice always is just start, just fail forward. And the learning is in the doing. Would you agree?
100%. Like I said in the beginning, if you don't act, you get nothing. If you do nothing, that's what you're going to get. If you pour 110% in, you're going to get results.
Yeah, dude, I love it. So listen, you shared some for sale by owner numbers with me off air, and I was just curious if you can kind of walk the audience through kind of your success with for sale by owners, what type of results you're getting now that you've gone through the program, and you and I have started to build that relationship from a coaching perspective. What are some of those numbers look like with your for sale by owners?
Well, first I want to say that consistency is key. I began prospecting for sale by owners very heavily mid-October through November, and continued to do that up until December. In December, the inventory really fell off for me here, and I didn't have I didn't have the consistency I was having previously. But while I was consistently doing it, I went on 25 to 30 meetings, and between November and January, I sold 5 homes for sale by owner. One of them being a little more recent, a little after January, and it was a buying side. The for sale by owner actually sold their home, and they chose me to be their buyer's agent based on the relationship I built with them.
Dude, that's badass. So if I heard you right, I mean, really, really focusing your efforts within a 90-day period of time, you had 25 or 30 face-to-face appointments, of which you sold 5 homes in that 90-day period with for sale by owners. Is that right?
Correct.
And what's funny about that, if you remember going through the course, that's my exact conversion formula. Meet with 20 and you're going to get 5. And what I try to do is get real estate agents to stay in the game every single month and get their 20 face-to-face appointments, and they're going to list 5 homes from those 20 face-to-face appointments. Yep. To your point, another thing you shared with me off air, and I would love to get your insight on this, is the agents will get really excited. They'll have their 20 or 30 appointments in a month. They'll get their 5 listings, and then what happens?
They do what I did, and they quit doing it. And I'm on that roller coaster right now. It's a learning experience, and I'm getting myself back together. I've got 2 listings live right now, and I've got 2 more coming up. One of them being a FSBO, and also this prospecting for FSBOs. Not only did it help me learn to deal with FSBOs, but it helped me learn with clients in general. My expired conversations that go much better. Since I learned everything from you, I've listed 3 homes expired as well. That's not including anything from my personal sphere.
I love that because the approach and such that you have such a good point, because the approach is not a for sale by owner approach.
No, it's cold calling.
It's a business strategy. It's a way of doing business with people that is different than every other real estate agent out there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, coming from contribution, and every real estate agent's probably heard that phrase, but how many of you actually use it? That's
right. We have to go. We have to have the mindset when working with the general population that we are going to provide them with something, and we're not looking for a handout, right? And that is the way that we build relationships that actually last long term. And that is the secret to conversion. I think no longer are we in the days of where you can hard sell somebody, overcome that objection, smash them in the face with all these sales techniques, because you're just pushing people further and further away from you. Would you agree?
Yeah, there's too many. I feel like there's too many realtors that behave the way I do and you do to do that. Ask your client if they know a realtor. Every single one of them knows more real estate agents than just you.
That's right. So, so last question for you. You know, there's a lot of agents. I would go off to venture to say that every for sale by owner has heard that they should probably be working for sale by owners. What advice, Nathan, would you give, whether it's a new agent or an agent that's been in the business for 20 years, that's never worked for sale by owners before? What advice would you give them when they start working in prospecting for sale by owner listings?
Don't give up. Just keep going through it. Work through the shit and find the good ones, because a lot of them are not very nice.
Yeah, no doubt, right? And what do I always say? I always say we're looking to work with nice, sane, reasonable people, right?
Yep. If their house is worth $200,000 and they've got it at $350 and they won't listen to you, move on to the next one.
That's right. No, dude, that's great
Just
advice.
Follow up with them in a few months.
That's right. Keep following up. Never stop. So listen, thank you for taking the time to do this, man. I really, really appreciate it. I mean, I think there's a lot of agents that want listings, that understand the value of listing property, but they just don't know what the approach is. They don't know how to do it. And so, you know, I'm on a mission right now to help these agents understand how they can start listing homes, how they can start connecting with the homeowner, to show them that we actually care, to show them that we actually do provide value. And I just think there's so much garbage, bad advice out there that it's my duty to do what I'm doing. And so, no, I appreciate you. Any last words of advice to any real estate agents out there?
Well, yeah. Before I came in contact with Brandon, I was buying leads and not having as much success as I am now. And since I learned how to prospect, I've created a career.
No, I love it, dude. I love it. So, man, thanks again for taking the time. And it's only going to get better from you from here. So I appreciate it. And best of luck in 2018.
Thanks, Ben. To you as well. Till next.